So Marco, great to catch up with you, my friend. It's been a little bit, but I know we've talked a few times this year. It's been an unprecedented year, and I think for a lot of folks, they're pivoting in their career. Maybe they had to find a new role during 2020, a year with the pandemic. They're looking for a new role for 2021, but there's a lot of folks that are pivoting in career. And I know that's something that both you and I are very familiar with doing. We've not only worked across different industries, but different organizations, different teams, different sizes of organizations as well. I'd love to get your thoughts on key learnings that you've had as you've successfully pivoted through your career multiple times. What do you think our audience would benefit most from understanding or knowing as they find themselves in that same situation?
Absolutely. And first, just want to thank you, for having me on. I think this is a great opportunity to get our messages out to the masses. And, just a fun fact for everyone out there, Carson gave me my first opportunity with AT&T Advertising Solutions, probably about maybe 14 years ago. So
hey, I made at least one good decision.
So I appreciate you. But, definitely getting into your question. So for me, transitioning from, the advertising space and then moving into real estate, right? So over the last couple of years, I serve as a national leasing director, with a single family rental company, which is completely different, from advertising sales. And advertising sales is more of a grind. You're cold calling. It's more of an aggressive sell, whereas on the real estate front, it's more of a not easier sell, but definitely it's a sale in which you're more customer service and you're really connecting with the customer. So transitioning there's two different leadership styles that you have as well, right? You have where you're pushing and grinding and in the fight, if you will, and it's almost like a war, for lack of a better term. When you're cold calling versus when you're having more of a customer services, learning how to show empathy, learning how to really put yourself in the customer's shoes, and really being that servant, right, to them, if for lack of a better term. So I think the biggest takeaway for anyone out there is understanding your audience, understanding your employees, understanding the organization, and what's the culture within that organization, so that you can navigate, within that organization effectively and really connect with your employees, right? How I connect with someone in the advertising or really hardcore sales space is completely different from how I connect with a leasing agent who is a licensed professional, meaning they've went and took their state test, their national test, and they have a piece of paper that say, I am licensed, which there's very few people that, have that real estate license and just in our world, and are able to use that in this platform. So there's a certain level of moxie, a certain level of, just confidence that comes with that. And, they've earned the right to kind of challenge here and there. So how you communicate and how you lead them is going to be totally, totally different. So, just really going in and understanding the personnel and understanding the organization, I would say is the biggest takeaway for me from transitioning into different companies. You really want to go in and just first learn before you can implement any new processes, before you can really help impact the culture. You have to then first be a part of said culture in the beginning.
Love that. I actually took some notes on some of the things that you said, because I really want to unpack a couple of the key items there. You're very central to everything that you focused on is people. The people that you're interacting with, whether it's the customers, the audience, if you're in a leadership role, the people that are working for you, but obviously all the colleagues and the people that you touch. I like to call that the sales food chain. Everybody's relationship with everyone else's matters a great deal. And even though you take yourself into a different role, a lot of the fundamental things are very much the same. And I think I was reading an article this week about not being afraid to make pivots mid-career. I think if anything, this year has definitely told a lot of people, hey, if it's time to go, if it's time to look for something else, for some, Unfortunately, they've been forced to look for something else. But very much at the heart of all of that is people. And what you said also about company culture. There are ways that we can impact the culture. And then my favorite word that you said was moxie. There is definitely a level of confidence and charisma and personality that you've got to infuse into what you do. And I think that's been one common theme for both you and me over the years, is that no matter what roles we've been in, we've been sellers, we've been leaders, we've been in different industries, we've touched different segments of customers, but the key element that remains is, how do you influence? How do you find the ability to parlay your skills into a new role? Now, I'm curious from your vantage point, because I know you've been a seller, you've been in management, and you've worked in different industries. What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you faced in doing that? Because there's a lot of challenge in transplanting yourself into another organization, and a lot of people, I think, have a fear. They have a fear in taking their career into a new direction because they're comfortable. And you've transformed yourself. I'd love to know, what was the impetus there? What prompted you to do it? But also, what was the biggest challenge in doing so?
Absolutely. So my passion, and something I'm very passionate about, is real estate. Always have been, always wanted to get into that industry, because at the end of the day, the world is not going to create more land, right? We're going to build on top of that land and transform it. But that's an industry that's going to be here when me and you are long gone from this earth. In advertising, you're selling phone books, you're selling Google advertising. We transitioned into a software sales company at the previous organization. However, as far as what advertising was on a secular decline, and you're trying to build a software business and really take that to the next level. And I felt my time had just ended, and I wanted to transform into something new, right? Something new that's going to take me to the next, 30, 40 years of my life, even to the end of my life. And that's real estate. Whether I'm with a corporate company or whether I'm on my own, the skills that I learn, I can use for me and make me better, not just for and within corporate America. So as you said, right, transitioning, the biggest hurdle, I would say, man, is, when you're at AT&T, or you have these different roles, whether you're, this type of manager or that type of manager, you grow into a director, whatever it is, you're still at one company. So with that one company, your track record, right, your credibility follows you, right? Someone can go back and they can look at your archives. They can look at your credit report, if you will, right, to know that you've done what you've said you've done. Now, when you transition to a new company, they don't know you from Adam, right? You have people that may have went for your particular job, people that may feel like you don't deserve your opportunity just based off of what your resume says and what your experience level is. For me, every single agent in our company has to be licensed with their particular state. Our directors that are local directors, they're licensed for that particular state. So I'm coming in as the guy that's going to oversee all of this and give us our strategy, build out our processes, etc. However, I'm not licensed. I don't have any real estate experience. So that's the biggest hurdle, is proving to the organization, and not necessarily anyone above me, but proving to the people that I support, right, and that I lead, that I'm the right person for the job. And I think the biggest thing that you do to do that is you get to know the people, right? Outside of what their results are. To me, results have never mattered. I don't focus on the end result. What I focus on is, what do my team members, what do they want? What do they want out of this experience with the company? What do they want out of life? I like to lead outside of what we're doing day to day at the job. How can what we do impact you in your personal life? And through that, you build credibility. And once you have credibility, then people start to then trust you, and then trust turns into loyalty. So